Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to tell you something more about cross-cultural differences and more specific about our research question, how do cross-cultural differences affect teamwork? To start with, I'll describe a concrete problem which may occur due to cross-cultural differences by using an example. Then we will move on to other potential problem areas in cross-cultural teams, followed by possible solutions to overcome these problems. After that, Dimitri will tell something more about Geert-Hofstede. And lastly, I'll quickly recap before concluding the presentation. As an illustration of a potential problem, I'd like you to take a look at the next slide. Looking at this slide, you might wonder what an airplane crash has to do with cross-cultural differences. Well, believe it or not, but cross-cultural differences can influence the crash rates. When you fly to a third world country, the possibility of dying in an airplane is 10 times higher than when you fly to a country like Japan or Australia or the USA. Now, how come? In some cultures and in some countries, the pilot is always right, even when he's wrong. And with this mentality, the pilot will be allowed to make mistakes and thus cause more airplane crashes. I now give the word to Rans for some other potential problems.
One of the major problems for international organizations is integrating all the individuals from different cultures into one coherent team. Conflicts or misunderstandings may lead to difficulties in achieving important organizational goals. So now you and I are going to tell something more about those potential problems. The first one is communication. The quality of communication is one of the most important problems in teams with different cultures. Those problems can be verbal or non-verbal. For example, when there's a team with people from different countries, they don't speak the same languages, so there can be a lot of misunderstandings or misinterpretations. But also non-verbal communication problems can be important. For example, I assume that you will prefer that I make eye contact when I'm doing this presentation. All right. Thank you. Well, that's because we're in the Western culture, but it's not always like that because we think that eye contact is important because it gives the feeling that people are honest. But for example, the Asian culture, there's thought that eye contact is disrespectful or rude, so you really have to take that into account when you're in a team with different people. The second one I'll discuss is work style. Differences in work style can be due to 4 different dimensions. Those dimensions are composed by Geert-Hofstede, but Dimitri will tell something more about that. I'll discuss the 4 basic dimensions. To start, there's power distance. This cultural dimension describes how individuals within a society view power and their role in decision making. The second one is uncertainty avoidance. In some cultures, people really want to be certain and they make strict plans and schedules to be sure that everything is done. But in other cultures, they say just, well, we'll see what happens. The third one is individualism versus collectivism. In cultures where the focus on individualism, people prefer to look at themselves. They don't really look after each other. But in more collective societies, people really are a team and they are less interested in themselves and more interested in the team. The last one is masculinity versus femininity. In more feminine cultures, people prefer like friends doing business with friends and focus isn't on real prestations. They don't think about financial goals and more about friendship. In more masculine cultures, people really want to make that deal and it's important to make big deals. So these 4 dimensions are very important to take into account because otherwise there will be a lot of problems. And now I give the word to you. You'll discuss some other problems.
Thank you, Laurence. Now, I would like to talk to you about the following 2 potential problems in cross-cultural teams. The first thing I'll focus on is the dominating influence within those teams. So, what impact does dominance have on cross-cultural teams? The first thing whether intentionally or unintentionally, some sections of teams that have a certain cultural similarity can dominate the whole team process and overrule the rest of the team. In that way, a dominant group can swing decisions towards a direction that they are comfortable with. This can create a frustrating environment for the rest of the team. That is why dominating influence can cause potential problems in cross-cultural teams. Secondly, I'll discuss the motivators and bonus systems that are used by companies. Motivators are basically the factors that make a person choose a particular business and team environment. Team leaders usually find motivators that stimulate the team members very significantly. So, how do team leaders use the available incentives, and which incentives contribute to the team's success? As I took a look at the motivators for working professionals, I noticed they can range from tangible rewards, such as monetary increments and career progression, to intangible rewards, such as job satisfaction, praise, and recognition from the top management. This is why it is important to know which motivators have effect on different team members in order to encourage them. Potential problems may arise if team leaders make use of the wrong motivators because they will have no stimulating effect. Besides, I would like to point out that not only cross-cultural differences make teamwork more difficult, but also the individual bonus systems that are used by companies make teamwork more difficult. In order to illustrate this, I'll describe a fictional situation. Let's say I'm a business leader of a car shop and these two young men are responsible for selling the cars, right? I let them both know they can gain a bonus if they sell 10 cars in the next month, right? But they have to do that before the other one does. But on average, only 15 cars are sold per month. And on top of that, I let them know they should work as a team. Right? Now my question is, will they work together? Will they work together, Manon? What do you think?
I don't think so.
No, of course not. Because they want the bonus for themselves. It's obvious. Now, let me explain to you why such an approach doesn't work. Sorry. On the one hand, business leaders make use of bonus systems because they focus on the results of their employees. But on the other hand, they request an optimal cooperation. Now, such an approach won't be effective because individual bonus systems create competition among the employees instead of cooperation. And that is why individual bonus systems can cause potential problems in cross-cultural teams as well. Now, having explained the potential problems, I now give the floor to Libertje, who will expose the solutions to these problems.
Thank you. Nowadays, many companies work on a global level because of lower costs and market potential. As a result, people from different cultures have to work together, and this will cause problems and conflicts, as already discussed by Ulrich and Ross. In order to prevent these problems from happening in the future and to solve current cultural issues, solutions like training, team building, and workshops can be integrated into the working flow. First, we have the intercultural management training. It tries to improve the difficult communication by making the managers understand the cultural differences and by giving them the knowledge and learning them the skills to become cultural agents, also known as C agents. So the main goal of this training is to let the managers develop a cultural intelligence and international cultural competence so that they can navigate easily through the different cultures and become a helpful part of a company in the global working atmosphere. A second popular solution in today's companies is cross-cultural team building. This new kind of team building not only focuses on creating cohesive groups of individuals that are able to work profitably and efficiently together as a team, but it also stresses the importance of getting to know each other and appreciate each other's different cultures. A third solution are special workshops. They are organized for both the manager and his team members. In this workshop, they are given an awareness training where they have to learn how to appreciate each other's differences and acquire a general understanding. So when they have this, it's much easier for them to understand, manage, and reconcile cultural differences that may arise in the work. But the most important thing is that the managers and his employees strive for the same goal, that they have the same vision. because of this, when they have this, they can overcome cultural differences and they can create strong long-term relationships, which is very important. Now, these solutions haven't been figured out in one day. It took some serious research on the subject, cross-cultural differences in organizations. One of the researchers that made a very big difference is Geert Hofstede. He is a Dutch social psychologist, and he's considered to be a real guru on this matter. He developed the cultural dimension theory, which states that a culture consists out of several dimensions. Each dimension is present in each culture, but more or less. It's not always in the same amount. And because of that theory, different cultures can be compared with each other. Initially, there were only 4 dimensions, as already been discussed and explained by Laurence. But after doing a study on Chinese managers, on how they interacted with each other, he added a 5th dimension. It's called long-term orientation. And after a few years, another researcher added a 6th dimension, but that one isn't really that important. Now,
Thank you. Right, let's sum up, shall we? First, Ulrich and Laurence showed us that there are a lot of problems which may occur due to cross-cultural teams. Then, Dieter told us that there are several solutions which companies can use to deal with these problems, such as team building, training, and workshops. From all this, I think we can conclude that the most important thing is that a company creates a cohesive group out of this team of individuals. And as Dieter said, the most important thing is that they have the same goals and strive for the same thing. Or as the slide says it, when the best and the brightest come together, the possibilities are endless. I thank you for your attention and I hope you enjoy your presentation.